When being targeted by a cult or a coven and recognizing the various tactics they use, the first thing to remember is that you have to develop an unshakable and unwavering faith and bond with your spirit team, your beloved angels and ancestors, but also within yourself, believing and knowing who you are, in growing and maturing spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Even though oftentimes, any of those can fluctuate depending on, how far along you are in your journey. But the key is not to give up and to remain consistent. But the tactics they use in order for you to know, if you're wondering if you're being targeted, you will know, you will see signs of people gaslighting you or behaving strange, abnormal around you, more than one, a group of people everywhere you go. You may notice the same cars, same license plate, same vehicles. You may notice people who normally um, either don't come or haven't historically or traditionally been seen or belong in a particular neighborhood or demographic. They'll all of a sudden pop up and you'll see that neighborhood quickly, rapidly begin to merge or begin to cultivate different backgrounds and cultures of individuals out of the blue. Just they submerge onto that particular location, right? And let's say you frequent a particular side of town, or you live on a side of town that has been traditionally more urban, right? And all of a sudden, and that side of town never had, let's say, a plethora of Asians or Hispanics, because let's say for the most part, depending on where you live, most of these cultures have their own sides of towns and their own neighborhoods, and they congregate amongst themselves already. They have their own laundromats, grocery stores, businesses, communities, etc. But let's say the area from where you come, all of a sudden out the blue, you'll begin to experience demographics that never historically or traditionally been in that area in a concentrated manner. That's how you know. Um, Early on, I'll share this, when this criminal networking group began to stalk the park, most of the parks that I frequent only had a certain look, certain feel, and a certain type of individuals that visited, because I love green spaces. When this group began stalking, all of a sudden it was a plethora and a mixture of every demographic that never showed up or visited or frequent that area before. And then they immediately had this comfortability of renting the green space out, performing birthday parties. Like, how do you pop up out of the blue and never was there, and all of a sudden you're renting? And then in the hot sun, but you never saw year after year, all of these cars, the same vehicles actually, that stalked with the same license plates, took up the whole parking lot spaces. You've never seen that before. They rented out the baseball diamond in order to be in close proximity. They rented the baseball diamond and had their group pop up and play baseball every day. And everybody that popped up would, because I used to go out there and sleep, and you see them pulling up next to me, and around the car, taking up all the spots, other suspicious cars parking across, driving by. They all, driving by slow. And then, they'll be out there playing baseball, but at the same time, simultaneously, instead of them really focusing and concentrating on the game itself, they would all be looking over at me. Weird stuff like that. These groups make it very obvious their activity and intentions. The other thing is, of course, we talked about in previous videos, the pocket watching. But another one, I probably touched on it, but probably didn't go deep into it. Let's say After the stage of, you being in isolation, you pulling yourself out of isolation. And let's say you can afford to check into a motel or, hotels. Let's say the hotel itself has 3 floors and you check into the second floor. They'll have their cronies and minions and sellouts check in the same hotel because everywhere you go, they follow, they stalk, right? And this includes federal stalking across state lines with their vehicles, and along with the harassment and the unsafe driving conditions they create. But let's say you check into the motel and you're on the second floor. Let's say the hotel got 3 floors. They'll have their sellouts, cronies, and minions checking on the first floor underneath you. They'll have people checking above you on the third floor, and they'll have people checking to the left and to the right of you. Now, early on, I say over a year ago, before I truly knew, what was going on, they had they had what you call it, microwave technology. They had some sort of equipment, not some sort. They had equipment that they would bring into the rooms. Nowadays, it's more based on, they still use the frequencies, but it ain't that military grade style that they was really focusing on back then, right? Back then, they was really trying to, pump, these harmful frequencies through the walls and really focus on my exploration in that way. Nowadays, it's really focused on harvesting energy, creating wealth and abundance, chasing my energy everywhere I go, like energy leeches, energy vampires, like thirsty, desperate devils just chasing energy, right? Wanting to hook in to my chakras, root chakra, sacral chakra, wanting to hook into my third eye, wanting to be able to see beyond the veil into the higher dimensions of existence, wanting to be able to communicate with Archangel Michael and Sahmet and Anubis, and wanting to be able to communicate with Asar, and Arashtad and Isis, and wanting to be able to communicate with the most powerful, potent beings in all of existence. So these individuals will check in all around you, and they will, pretend to be everywhere you go, be it shopping, grocery store, whatever, pretend to be normal customers, citizens, patrons. In order for these dark cults and covens to exist, they have to blend in fake, phony individuals in plain sight, hiding in plain sight, right? They have to pretend to be normal. And majority of people around you in the community who pretend to be normal within these criminal networks and cults and covens blend in and pretend to be average, regular, normal individuals with jobs and positions within the community. But their true essence and nature and what they do in plain sight, with the sneaking and the tippy toeing and being around you, is something far more sinister. And this is why we speak on and we're focusing on as a collective of this division, this divide between them, these sellouts, these soulless beings who want to slip in, infiltrate your circle, your environment, your community, be amongst you, right? And those of you who are truly putting in the work and understand that prophecy is unfolding, that the divine planning is unfolding, that regardless of what culture you come from, it all speaks of the end times. It all speaks of preparing yourself for these chariots of the divine, these crafts, these galactical confederations coming back and extracting those of you, regardless of the color of your skin or culture you were raised in, because every culture has star seeds. Every culture has special men and women and children with spiritual gifts and abilities. Every culture has those who are tapped into the divine and are great, wonderful star seeds, chosen ones, right? It's not just going to be one skin color that get on these crafts, these ships, that's taken aboard, and transported safely, escorted safely to the Crystal City, adorned for, adorned like a bride for its groom, as it speaks of. Many of you are going to travel to different locations before you end up at your final destination back amongst the stars or your particular home planet with your etheric parents. Many of you still have a job to do as the collective. You have to be taught and trained for a period of 1,000 years, which is likened unto one day, and then brought back to finish this war, to complete this war. Many of you already put in the work that you were required to put in by being great readers and great human beings and spreading your love and your light and planting those seeds and getting people to come towards the divine. Many of you will be relinquished of those duties, right? Because you're not of the cherubim of those divine righteous warriors that's going to come and bully the bullies and deal with the real bullies, right? The real bullies is going to come deal with these clowns and these cowards, right? Because they want smoke and they want the physicality and they want to bully and harass and they act like they really about that. But those cherubim, those real bullies, the ones that's of the divine, that's with all of that smoke, those are the ones that's coming after you all. Finally get it together and stop being cowards yourself and stop being scary and stop standing on the sideline and finally come together in divine unity and do what you're supposed to do and stop running over to these dark cults and covens and giving your penis away to make demonic seeds, or giving your vagina away as a chosen star seed to bring in these narcissistic demonic sociopaths, instead of getting on your soul's purpose and your soul's path and bringing in these future star seeds and earth angels. When you all stop being beguiled and tricked and only focusing on a come up and only focusing on that shiny dangling carrot, and you're saying, no, that's okay, I'm gonna remain patient, remain disciplined, and I'm gonna give first thought, second thought, third thought with this choice I'm about to make, and I'm gonna listen to Earth Angel Rob and connect with my higher self and connect with my spirit team and let them assist me in co-creating and guiding my steps and ordering my steps, because they're not going to steer me wrong. Even if I don't see the whole complete picture, they're not going to steer me wrong. I just have to get on board and learn to walk with them and trust and build that bond and that relationship, because surely, as Earth Angel Rob is saying, that if you go the wrong way, you might not see it right away, but eventually it's gonna come tumbling down like a wall of bricks, right? Like a wall of boulders. And then you're going to realize, oh, I got caught up in a trap with a narcissistic criminal network, with a demonic organization, a dark cult and coven, because I didn't take it serious, that there is a divide taking place. This is a spiritual war, a spiritual battle, and I must be intentional with my choices and my decisions. And I can't have one foot in and one foot out. I can't play both sides. I have to be decisive and intentional. I have to. There's no choice in the matter. It's either over here or over there. It's no both ways. It's no, I'm going to party with them because they like to get down and boogie, and then I'm going to go over here when I want the protections, the blessings, the gifts, the rewards, the healings. Nah, because you can have all of that and then some. You can still celebrate. You can still have your family events and cookouts and celebrate each other's earth angel children, and love on each other and divine love and unity. And it just requires more discipline and more work. The divine is going to test you, and it may seem like you're being tested extensively before you begin to receive the gifts, the rewards, and the blessings. But a lot of times you all do that to yourselves. We do it to ourselves, don't we? Because once they present your divine person, it looks like something that you're not interested in. A lot of time, the choice is right there in front of you, but you choose to go the opposite direction. A lot of times, when they're trying to get you on your divine path, the choice is as simple as deciding that I'm going to go over here and follow my intuition and my discernment, listen to my heart. What do we do most of the time? We second guess. Because simultaneously, these dark cults and covens, these narcissistic sociopaths present themselves to you. while you're getting ready to make your choice, because usually that's the frequency, and they know because they're watching and studying. They're all around you trying to block your forward movement and your ascension. So right when you're presented the opportunity to make the necessary sacrifices and release, because it requires sacrifices, these demonic narcissistic sociopaths pop up and they beguile you with that shangling, shiny, dangling carrot. And what do you all normally do? Instead of listening to your intuition and your heart and following your spirit team, you get caught up with these soulless sellout devils that present an illusion that they got it like that, that they always gonna have it like that. They don't have the protections. They don't have the healing. They don't have the guidance. They don't have the divine blueprint. They don't know how prophecy is going to unfold. All they do is serve low vibrational, dense demonic energies and make offerings to entities, specters, and spirits, and party and follow behind each other like a bunch of idiots. All they do is lie, cheat, and steal to get ahead. All they do is recruit people that are unstable, who are not willing to put the work in, who most likely are already paying off karmic debt from previous lives of traumatic experiences and evil deeds they've committed, or generational curses that was passed down from those in their family that preceded them from being weak-minded sellouts as well. Because the sins of the father is passed down to the sons and the daughters. That's how generational curses are formed. So all of these idiots and sellouts that's participating and violating energetic boundaries, stalking and hiding and using frequencies and, energy weapons and, slander and defaming and, the things that these sellouts and clowns do. They are creating generational curses for themselves and their so-called loved ones, right? And because they don't care, as long as they get to experience what they consider a good time and bliss, it's not going to hit them until after, it's too late, after they realize there's no redemption. Because a lot of times, many of you who go the wrong way, you have the opportunity to get yourself back on track, but you're usually so consumed with embarrassment and you're usually so consumed with appearances that you refuse to step up, speak out, or turn around. So you just stay there and you allow yourself to become that fallen angel. You allow yourself to become someone who is helping keep the status quo going, keeping the chains and the binds on humanity, and even within your own family. Start there first, right? You don't have the wherewithal to say, you know what, I messed up, I'll eat that embarrassment. But if I know that my spirit team and beloved angels and ancestors is going to accept me and work with me and get me back on course, of course I have to burn off that energy from the actions and choices I made previously, of course. But if my beloved angels and ancestors is still accepting me, loving me, and guiding me, then why not? Why would I stay stuck around a bunch of demonic, hateful, narcissistic individuals who all they do is step on other people's toes and lie and deceive and withhold information and block the truth and wear a mask, smiling liars, charming devils, and tell you whatever you want to hear, as long as they could keep you distracted, as long as they could keep you from focusing on the truth, finding out the truth, knowing the truth, putting the pieces of the puzzle together, or connecting with your true soul's purpose, your soul's path, and even your soul tribe and your divine person. That's what they do. One big Truman Show-esque distraction. You thinking that your life is normal around you every day, when you have a bunch of sellouts and clowns around you that'll do anything for chump change. They stalk and walk past your door. They listen, ear hustle, eavesdrop, pocket watch. You have a whole group of soulless sellouts that seemingly don't have a life of their own because they're fixated and consumed on yours and your soul tribes and your divine purpose and your divine persons. This is what you run to when they dangle the shiny carrot in front of you. This is what you take on. This is what you accept. And they'll keep the illusion going. We got money. I got money. The money is coming. And usually it's something that they're trying to steal from other people. They target you for your resources because most likely the divine, if it's a divine union, the two of you are no slouches. The two of you are no slouches because either you materially have it right now and your divine person understood the assignment and was the decoy, so they may have sacrificed everything, not because they lazy or they can't get it. Your divine person might be abundance in existence. Your divine person might be the embodiment of abundance. Abundance itself, not have the ability to create wealth, not have the ability to get it. They themselves might be the entire complete existence and package of what you consider abundance. An inexhaustible slot machine. But your ignorance, immaturity, and fear could not allow you to see that. You went for the goddamn illusion, the dangling fake carrot that's gonna disintegrate and melt away as soon as you go down that wrong road, that wrong path. And you walked away from abundance in flesh. You walked away from healing in flesh. You walked away from inexhaustible divine creative flow in flesh and so much more, because you let a devil present itself and tell you, yo, don't look over there. They not one of us. They not like us. They nothing special. Yo, don't look at that. Look over here. See what I can do? Meanwhile, that's a mimicker, mocker, harvester that's siphoning and harvesting and stealing the energy or the content from the one they're telling you not to look at. Meanwhile, the resources that they're using is either yours, that they sucked you into this new relationship into. Right now, they stealing your, trying to figure out how to tap into your resources that you built, spent your creative gifts, blood, sweat, and tears to build and create. Your traumatic experiences you built, they using your resources now that you were supposed to be a good steward over, and present that to the decoy. That's abundance in flesh that would have got it back to you a billion times over, literally a billion times over. But you couldn't see it. You couldn't see it. So you went for the dangling carrot that's gonna disintegrate as soon as you take the wrong path, only to realize way too late that you went the wrong way because you were superficial, or you had more healing to do, or you made the wrong choices based on the wrong reasons. There was still something inside of you that you needed to look in the mirror, fix it. You would have been all right. We all grow at our own pace. We all have our things to work on. My thing has always been food, not sex, not alcohol, not drugs, narcotics, none of that. Always food. I love to eat. You know what I'm saying? And I don't just eat regular stuff. I used to think of myself as my own, how they go around the different spots. I used to do that by myself and enjoy myself. Go to the movies by myself and enjoy my own company. My own thing been food. But I also love exercise. I also love taking care of myself. I also love being healthy, right? And a lot of times when you're dealing with these dark cults and covens and sinister groups and hating ass devils, they try to block your growth and your healing, be it spiritual and or mental, emotional, or physical. Their whole purpose is to get in the way because these devils have nothing else to do. These soulless sellouts have nothing else to do with their time in their life other than to eavesdrop and ear hustle and interfere with other people's blessings and healing path and healing journey and worry about what they're doing. They focus and hyper focus and fixated on other people and what they're doing. They can't help themselves, even if they're pretending they're not paying attention or they don't care. Oh, trust me, they care. They listening. They can't help themselves. This is where this dense energy, this soulless energy, this sellout energy, the type of individual that they recruit is these type of people, right? So don't ever think that just because they're acting like they're not paying attention, that or they acting like they don't care. This is the characteristics: tippy toeing, creeping around, mad, pretending, following behind idiots with resources that tell them to do anything, that tell them to jump off the cliff. These dummies do it. You don't want to be a part of those dumbass group like that, man. When divine planning says that you can have it all, but it requires discipline. It requires making the right choices. It requires sacrifices. It requires healing. Yeah, I know. We could take that up with Angel Michael and Paul Natharu. Why? The training and the testing is extensive, and you proving and showing and giving all of this discipline. And you're like, divine, I'm proving, I'm showing. Where's that? Just you don't got to give me everything. Just give me the resources, so I don't have to depend on these devils, or for a job or money. Just give me the resources you promised me. I could hold off on the divine counterpart. They keep going the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? But just bring me the resources so I could do what I got to do, because I'm self-sufficient, right? And you're like waiting and waiting and waiting, and you keep hearing it's coming, and you're like, all right, cool. I ain't even gonna focus on it. I'm gonna just keep grinding. But divine, these devils are still around me. Why the extensive test? You all are the most powerful, potent beings in all of existence. Make it happen. I'm doing my part. Make it happen. But then you realize the divine and your spirit team is making it happen. But these devils refuse to shut it down and go away. So now they're blocking communication. They're stealing your mail, committing mail fraud, right? You have corrupt law enforcement that's not doing their job, not respecting their oath of office. They're taking sexual bribes. They're taking monetary bribes and sexual favors. They're blocking these cases from moving forward and being exposed to the world, and holding their corrupt comrades accountable for what they participate in with these human trafficking rings. Because we talked about, it goes beyond sex trafficking. It's human trafficking. We're talking about melanin and body parts on the black market, organs, etc. They'll go as far as sex trafficking, but sex trafficking is tied to human trafficking. Because after they're finished with the sex part, what do you think they do after that? Say, here's your retirement package. Here's your, thank you, good luck, get back on your feet package. Thank you for allowing us to take what we wanted from your body and, this fornication. Here's your retirement plan we put together for you. Nice watch and, little severance. Nah. When we say dark cult and coven, when we say sinister criminal network and organization, we truly mean dark, evil, demonic. And technically, we were taught that dark means that. So for all intents and purposes, we'll go along with that. But you have to know that you, as chosen and starseeds, have to be decisive. You can't allow yourself to be weak-minded and keep going the wrong way, and then asking the question, when are we going to get to experience love and happiness and promises and of the divine, etc.? When do we get to, experience all that's good that the divine has promised us? A lot of times it's because we go the wrong way. Now, what the divine had set up and meant for us, it has to make rearrangements or rearrange, our path, or rearrange those who were supposed to come into union or contact or, partnership. Doesn't always have to be romantic. Because at the end of the day, the collective, is going to be many unions out of the collective coming together once these catalysts get it together and have the courage to do so. But that's the major holdup at this moment. Those who are the catalysts, for whatever reason, are going the wrong way. They're not healed. They're pretending, they're fronting, they're making videos for appearances only, acting like everything is all put together. And these people are so unstable. These people are so acting and pretending. They're doing their hair, they're doing their makeup, they're trimming their beards, they're doing all this other stuff. And I'm not talking about those who are genuinely, sincerely putting in the work and they know they're putting in the work. They know they're taking steps towards their healing. Nobody's perfect now. Like I said, I love food, I love to eat. So guess what? From time to time, I might let myself go. But I'm always conscious and aware of where I am and what I'm doing. And I always get myself back together. You understand? You know what I'm saying? I don't, depending on where I am and what I'm doing, because a lot of times, especially for truck drivers, this last time I went out, I see that there's a lot of drivers that are more health conscious, and that's good because that's what I started doing. So now the gyms are more accessible when you go to these truck stops in different areas, or the scheduling itself allow you to have time to work out and to get yourself together, right? So that's something I noticed, and that's a great incorporation, because like I said, just as much as I love to eat good food, I also like to work out as well and take care of myself. But the thing is, you have to have the environment, right? To consistently be able to prepare healthy meals. You have to be able to go shopping and you have to be able to cook and have a stove, right? Everything can't be placed into a microwave because a lot of trucks have microwaves. But you can, invest in hot plates and stuff like that. This is all stuff that I know. This is all stuff that I've even bought mobile refrigerators and all of those type of things. But keep in mind as well, y'all, you on your healing journey, these dark cults and covens, they will intentionally focus and target whatever it is in your natal chart, your birth chart, that is centered around whatever unhealed wounds you have, whatever it is that they know, the sellouts in your life, the unstable exes and individuals and hating family members who want to hold on to stolen funds. These people will target the old you, or what they think or perceive to be your weaknesses or your unhealed traumas. And so if they think that you are an emotional eater, they're going to pay a practitioner, witch, warlock, sorcerer, kitchen witch, root worker, spellcaster, demonic, by the way, also only led by greed and money, to do the work, to focus on what they perceive your unhealed traumatic experiences or wounds are. If you're an emotional eater, they're going to focus on that. Now imagine being bombarded with stalking, harassing, keeping your head on a swivel, spiritual attacks, everywhere you go, you're dealing with all of this as a decoy, as a catalyst. Not making excuses, but you're dealing with all of that day to day, 7 days a week. And we're not talking about one or two people. We're talking about large groups of hating ass devils, stalking, parading, harassing, energy weapons, etc., etc., etc. Y'all don't know what goes into this. Y'all can only stand on the sideline. This is why certain ones of you, your spiritual team, is the prime, supreme, utmost, highest level that there can be in all of existence. While others of you, your spirit team, may not be as deep. But your spirit team still is connected to the hierarchy of the divine, still receive guidance and instructions. But your spirit team is not that of the highest order of all of these different beings that's coming together to ensure that this divine purpose and blueprint unfolds in the way that it's supposed to. After lifetimes of disappointments and dark cults and covens stealing and taking what don't belong to them, after lifetimes of these sinister groups and Luciferians and demonic organizations stealing and taking and blocking unions, that alone should be enough to motivate. Like, damn, you did this in the past life and da 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 da. And the divine is like, nah, not this time, not ever again. It's a reckoning. They're going out of their way to try to stop the reckoning, to try to stop what they already tried to get away with. And in some cases, they get away with before. The divine is not having it this time. They will not allow any more delays for any reason. They will not allow any more corruption, blockages, fake corrupt law enforcement officials that's not doing their job. When this case was supposed to have been started and, working on solving it and bringing in the lawsuits and the indictments and the arrest. It's supposed to been, the world was supposed to been informed of this case and what's going on with this criminal organization. But instead they want to create distractions. So now the spirit world has to take over. Now you're going to start seeing more 3-eye atlases and crafts, right? And I'm not saying this as any type of threat, but I'm saying is if you all who are sworn to protect and serve refuse to do your fucking job, what do you expect? The spirit world and the angels is going to say, okay, we have to balance the scales of justice because you clowns and cowards refuse to do so. So if you want to abuse our children, our star seeds, our chosen, and think that we're not going to step up and show our presence strong, you're out of your fucking mind. They belong to us, not you, and you don't get to abuse them. So here we come. We coming. So you're going to see more and more crafts, motherships, wheels, because they're already in place as it is. And they don't, and trust me, establishments and governments and sergeants and generals, all respect due to you all and your professions and what you do and your brilliant minds and your strategic minds. Thank you for your service. However, if you idly stand back and you allow innocent people to be stalked and abused, and allow their destinies to be swapped and their inheritances to be stolen, and allow these criminal organizations to harass them every day using energy weapons, which they started using it on many of you within government, Havana, Syndrome, etc. The scales, the divine will always find a